planks. Hey, you beautiful buccaneers, Falcore here. So Sea of Thieves has come a long way since its initial birth in 2018. The game has gone from bare bones to a treasure trove of lore and content. But what if it was all done differently? So, although we all love this wonderful piratey realm that we visit every day, there is one thing very evident about the game's development. And it's not necessarily a negative thing, as far as accessibility is concerned, but it's kind of a bummer for those of us who have been playing since release, or quite some time. In simple terms, the game is structured in a way that appeases to every playstyle, and every timescale that a player has to invest in the game. That, in essence, is one of the beautiful things about the game. It appeals to practically every player, whether you're young, old, new, or seasoned. However, this can often leave die-hard veterans like myself and others watching yearning for more. Although this is a sandbox game, it does come with a progression of sorts. But one of the biggest problems I have with the game is the fact that the progression means absolutely nothing. The game gives you a great sense of action, but doesn't give you a great sense of belonging. So to explain things better, this is how I would structure the game's progression to make it more appealing to everyone. At present, in Adventure Mode, there is only one tier of progression, Athena's Fortune. Gain level 50 in 3 of any of the factions, and you get to visit the Pirate Legend hideout, where nothing happens, and then you get some Athena quests that are the same thing you've been doing all along. Oh, and you can dress like a lampshade. But that's it. At the end of the day, the only reason to venture to Pirate Legend is this place, and more quests. Throughout the game's development, they have added a huge amount of new cosmetics, being able to add a figurehead, change the look of your hull, your sails, capstan wheel, and cannons. But all of these options have been available to everyone with the right coin. So that's the first thing I would change. Extended cosmetics, the wheel, the capstan, and the cannons would only be accessible to Pirate Legends. That way, Pirate Legends would actually look unique out on the seas, and it would give an extra incentive to make it to Pirate Legend. Pirate Legends would also get unique perks, such as being able to buy an empty storage crate from merchant reps, empty gold chests from the gold hoarders, and different colored lights from the Order of Souls. These would all come with, of course, a hefty price tag and would be entirely optional. But not only would it be a great gold sink, which is something we all need, it would also give Pirate Legends a sort of exclusive feel. The other factions would also need some love in terms of progression. As it stands right now, the new faction missions, Gold Hoarder Vaults and the Order of Souls Ghost Ships are available at a very low level. As a new player, you can unlock these after one lucky haul from an island hopping for treasure. I tested this on my alt and was able to unlock these new missions within 42 minutes with little to no effort. For a new player, they probably wouldn't even notice these missions were locked behind anything, so rather than just slapping them in the quest options, lock them behind a tier of level 40 or even 50 and display them separate so it gives the player something to look forward to and progress toward. Now, I know that's not fair when a patch comes out and not everyone can experience them, but just like all the patches previous, when a new event comes out, the build rat offers lower tier versions of them for everyone to try. I honestly don't understand why this is even a thing when it's so easy to unlock them in the first place, but locking them behind a high level tier and giving everyone a taste of them when the patch goes live is definitely the way to go. People will get a taste, see they love them, and then want to progress to have them permanently. I mean, it makes sense, right? Now let's move on to Emissaries. Emissaries are great and give you a huge gold and reputation gain. However, I was very disappointed at the way that they were implemented. At present, they offer nothing outside of extended reputation and gold. This is going back to my sentence on not belonging in the game. The emissary would have been a great way to make your character feel like he belongs to a faction. Another problem is they are entirely optional and can often bring unwanted attention, which I totally understand. Not everybody wants to encounter PvP when they're grinding to Pirate Legend. So the first thing I would change about emissaries is from levels 1 to 50 with a faction, they are totally optional, but levels 50 to 75, they are mandatory. From levels 50 to 75, it is impossible to gain reputation with a company unless you have an emissary flag. This would increase the amount of emissaries in the game and essentially give everyone a hard mode endgame using already present game mechanics. But in terms of getting a feeling of belonging to a faction, factions should also come with a relaxed version of a turf war. Sailing and handing into certain locations as a chosen faction will change the map's color in certain regions. Those regions would then have an increased percentage of XP and gold for hand-ins, but also an increased loot spawn of the faction's wanted goods on the islands in that area. So, as an example, a player flies the Gold Hoarder flag and digs up loot on Cannon Cove, and then sells that loot at Golden Sands. This increases the area of influence for that faction, increased reputation and gold at Golden Sands, and increased Gold Hoarder drops at Cannon Cove. However, if two players then do Order of Souls at Cannon Cove and hand in at Golden Sands, it trumps the influence area and makes it beneficial to Order of Souls instead. This way, it would not only encourage all players to fly the emissary flag, it would also give players a good indication of what's going on in areas. You're more likely to find friends or alliances of the same faction if you sail in the areas that represent your faction's flag. On the flip side, you're more likely to find PvP if you sail into the influence area outside of your faction's flag. It's just a great way to not only increase player interactivity, either friendly or hostile, but also a great way of giving the player a sense of belonging and something to strive for outside of mundane grab and deliver missions. And lastly, Reapers. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Now, Reapers were supposed to be this sort of feared, evil, awesome faction that everyone steered clear of. However, in reality, due to the progression system, 9 times out of 10, they're just a bunch of Fort of the Damned loot stackers that run at the slightest sign of movement. Reaper's progression system is entirely broken. It's too easy to level up with them. They buy anything off you, hell, even a box of toenails. You can scour the lands as a Reaper, loot stacking anything you find, and then hand it in without ever engaging in PvP, and then sail around looking like a badass sweat lord. No, Reapers are broken for this very reason. Reaper's progression system should have relied solely on stolen loot and stolen emissary flags, and that is the only way you can gain reputation with them. You can still earn gold by handing in your loot found on islands, and you can still earn emissary levels by finding random loot, but the only way you can gain reputation with the faction is by handing in stolen loot or emissary flags. And yes, I realize that would have been a very long and drawn out leveling up process that would have likely taken months to complete for the average player, but at least then if you saw a Reaper ship, especially one with level 75 cosmetics, you would actually feel a sense of fear and likely run yourself, instead of being the one chasing a Reaper ship for nearly 3 hours because the crew are a bunch of snowflakes.